I am not dead. Welcome to What If Deku Was a Super Saiyan God, Part 2. After some idea explaining and other things like that, I have came back to start What Ifs once more. I had a lot of school things to do, so yes, that's the only reason I was gone for so long. Anyways, to say anymore, let's get into the video. Anyways, before I start this video, why does Deku not remember anyone from his past is due to about when he was 6, 7-ish, he got hit on the head. Like Goku did when he first came to Earth, he also got dropped on the head. Which is the reason Goku doesn't remember, his entire Saiyan heritage, nor his mission. So yes. That is the same thing that happened to Deku. But this time, instead of forgetting it in entirety, he would actually remember it piece by piece. So yes. As there would be the first of UA. The first day of UA. As people would see that Deku is, even with the UA uniform on, people can see he's very built. And that what would happen is that, as in canon, the quirk examination, Deku would practically get all of it. Practically get number 1 in all of them. Grip test, all of them. His power level will probably be a simple Saiyan power level will be 2,000, so I'll say Goku's 9,000, so I'll say that he's at least on that 5,000 train, a bit on that 5,000 train. So he's a bit higher than the average Saiyan. Normal Saiyans back on Planet Vegeta were like 2,000s. So he'd be on his 5,000s. Or at least that's what he seems. He's not really, he's in his lazy mood, he's kind of tired, so his tiredness is practically on 5,000. But if he was, actually wanted to do something, not any serious mode, but he'll get, it'll increase dramatically. His normal power level will be 10,000, but, I mean, complications between flipping Dragon Ball Z power level scaling is some BS, so I wouldn't really be recommending the power levels for everything. So yes. As from a faraway planet, there would be a person that would see this. Or more of a king due to him killing his father, Cooler. Cooler would sense his power level from a distant planet. And he would sense that it was almost as high as his. JK, because I'm pretty sure. It'd be on par or a little bit below Cooler's. But of course, though, Frieza wasn't that strong, especially since I'm using the beginning when Frieza was first introduced, using the first form, meaning that he does not have, his shiny form, I guess. He anything below his first form he does not have. So he only has, the basic Frieza form, practically. Not the one you normally see in Dragon Ball Z, but the one before that. And then back in Dragon Ball during the Frieza arc. Before, Frieza got his first form. He'd be in that form. So what would happen is that he would just destroy everything. Like, when he comes to runs, he would get number 1. Everything he would just get number 1 on. People would see this, and Aizawa would notice something that is different. He tried to deactivate Deku's quirk multiple times, but see, that is not a quirk. So, practically what I'm saying is that it's not a quark, but more of a DNA evolvement. As DNA, only to those who are quirkless can gain, you know, Saiyan DNA, but due to him being the only Saiyan for now, or at least in this universe for now, he would be the only one who can transform into Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan... I guess due to him not having a tail, he wouldn't go Super Saiyan 4, but he have something resembling Super Saiyan 4, though. And then, you know, after that, it'd be, I believe, Super Saiyan God, and then Super Saiyan God Blue Hair, and then after that would be Super Saiyan Blue Hair with Kaioken. And after that would be Ultra Instinct. Which Goku, I mean not Goku, Deku, he would only be able to have about 5 forms. But he would be just as strong or a bit weaker than Goku is. At least at his base form. And due to him being the strongest, or, you know, the only Saiyan, I will give him, you know, that Sasuke BS power-up, so yeah. Or Itachi BS power-up, so yeah. Anyway, so he would practically be, due to him being the only Saiyan, he would unlock, how would you say, Evil Super Saiyan. Which Evil Super Saiyan, I believe, is from Cumber, I think. So he would gain that, but that would be more on the, not 5 forms, but that would be more on his, like, kind of DLC forms. Kind of like those side forms where if he has no other choice, kind of like Kaioken. Wait, Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Kaioken will be kind of like his side. Like, if he has no other choice, and, like, you know, he can't activate anything, he'll use either Kaioken, or, you know, Super Saiyan, or Evil Super Saiyan from Cumber, so yeah. He would have the legendary Super Saiyan, but that would be more on the lines of his 5th form, kind of God of Destruction mode, so yeah. Breaking his limits, he would still have, you know, the red hair, but it will be more of a glowing shining. Instead of, you know, how it just stays, like, after the power-up, it vanishes into, you know, normal red hair. Instead of glowing red hair, Deku would have his glowing red hair in his God of Destruction mode stay glowing red hair, so yeah. Due to, you know, all this other BS that I'm flipping putting in, because I think it would be cool. So yeah. So right now he will only be able to unlock 5 forms until he hits, what is the flippin' name? Hold up. I can't remember the name. Time Volt. What was the name of it? Hold up, I gotta set something up. Time. From actually, right. Time Volt. It's like the time chamber, that's what it's called. Flip, I remember. Time chamber. Eventually, Deku, after mastering some things, there would be, you know, some things that will fall to his planet, which are originally from, I guess, this version of the world's planet Vegeta? But I guess it wouldn't be called Planet Vegeta since Vegeta doesn't exist in this universe. No planet of existence. So, I guess it would just be called it Planet Saiyan. Or the Super Saiyan planet, or just Saiyan's planet, I guess. So, I guess reasoning, let's say, I said he was the first Super Saiyan God. Technically I did say that, but I'll say for purpose, the Super Saiyan race does exist, but they are, how do you say, I said he was the first Super Saiyan God. Technically for Super Saiyan, but, you know, gotta add some things to make it more interesting. So Deku would be the first Super Saiyan God, and only Super Saiyan that can go higher than, you know, Super Saiyan 3. So yes. Will other Super Saiyans be in this? Why not? Because I felt like if he was only Super Saiyan, it wouldn't be much of a challenge, so I did have to edit some things. So yes. He would be the first and only, you know, legendary Super Saiyan, since, you know, there's only one. So he's practically the Broly of this universe, but kind of, I guess. So over the, you know, the time, Deku wouldn't really care about training or, you know, listening to anything, because, you know, he feels this overwhelming power coming to his planet. So he would start, you know, using Kaioken, but the difference between Kaioken, though, Deku's body would dramatically adapt to Kaioken's abilities, meaning that he wouldn't gain the drawbacks of Kaioken, meaning that it's practically like the only drawback is that it does, you know, waste a lot of stamina, but that'd be the only drawback instead of, you know, muscle ripping and whatnot. So yes. Meaning that he would be able to use, you know, I guess stamina wouldn't be a thing, but I guess I'll call it kind of like a rage Kaioken. So as long as, you know, he has a certain, you know, emotion, he can use it. I guess that would be, depending on how he feels, that's how much long you can feel Kaioken. And if you know, since he is going to be the first god of destruction, or, I mean, Super Saiyan God. Sorry. Oof, I probably just spoiled it right there. But anyways, yeah. Deku would, how do you say? He would use Super Saiyan, not Super Saiyan, he would use Kaioken to at least times 10 by now. So, the dramatic thing, he would, due to feeling this overwhelming presence, he would feel it more of a bloodlust and, you know, aiming towards him. So he would use Kaioken times 10 and eventually times 20, going beyond what Goku did and even going towards Kaioken times 50. But this will only be experimental due to Deku only wanting to see how long he can stand the form for before his body starts to break down. So he would only be able to use Kaioken times 50 for about 5 seconds. And so, yeah. And every time he does use it, it will decrease in time, meaning that he can only use it for 1 second, and then eventually not use it at all. Due to his body it's denying the amount of overwhelming power, but at the same time, it would adapt and kind of make him go to Kaioken times 15, I guess. Kaioken times 15. Or, you know, eventually his body will adapt, fighting, you know, and I guess people start coming to planet Earth. Like, I guess, who was the first people to go to planet Earth? I think it was the Genyu Force. Wait, no, it was Raditz. So I'll say, for some reason, let's say, the backstory on Deku, I did say he was born on planet Earth, but I didn't say how. He's not part human, though. At least, technically, he isn't. What do I mean by that? Well, Hisashi Midoriya, he wasn't a Saiyan, but he did find a Saiyan that recently died on planet Earth due to one of Cooler's attacks. So that would mean, you know, he would try to use, you know, make himself stronger. He would sense a power that coming from the Super Saiyan Z corpse. He would try, you know, he was a scientist, I'll say, or some type of, you know, kind of like Dr. Gero, but, you know, not, because he's not going to be the one. Okay, after, you know, it's kind of like a Kaioken, or, you know, one for all, so it eventually killed him. Eventually killed Deku. I mean, not Deku. Eventually kill himself, Hisashi, due to just the overwhelming power. And he would also, slip some things in Inko's drink to, make sure she gets it. But she, unlike her, she would get, a lot less of it. But eventually it would get there to Hisashi. But the only thing it will do for Inko will make her shorter. So yes, short Inko. And so making sure that he practically has not God of Destruction Key, but Super Saiyan God Key, Raw Super Saiyan God Key, making him the first Saiyan on Earth, which I forgot to announce, the first Saiyan on Earth to be born, meaning that he would be somewhat complications depending on who would be sent to Earth would be, I guess, the equivalent to Raditz, I guess. So yeah. Anyways, that will happen in, I guess, the US. Yes. Anyways, what would happen is that Inko would be limited. What do I mean Inko would be limited? I mean her time limit of living would be limited. Because due to their body due to them being human, they wouldn't be able to handle this amount of power. And due to, their offspring, technically not being human, but having that DNA from the Super Saiyan Hisashi injected himself with, would go to Deku instead of himself, meaning that Hisashi got all the drawbacks and Deku got all the positivities of, the DNA. Meaning that he's kind of like a Xara experiment, but not. So he's kind of like a full Super Saiyan due to, it did change Inko and, Hisashi to be a bit stronger, having Saiyan DNA. So the Saiyan DNA he would only get from the Saiyan DNA. Meaning that he's 100% Saiyan, Super Saiyan. Anyways, all that physiology's out the way. Meaning that since he doesn't have... Meaning that Saiyan, it's not proper since he kind of made the Saiyan DNA just into Saiyan DNA, not a specific person. Meaning that Inko and Hisashi aren't technically his family. But he does belong to the Saiyan race, though. So the first person before Crueler, because I guess Crueler will be a lot more farther away from Earth than Raditz is, due to Raditz feeling this power up and, space taking over, planets and whatnot. Raditz, or the equivalents to Raditz, will feel this, as he'll feel a sense of, how would you say, familiarity from this power. So you can say that this was all under Inko's, nose, but she would feel her quirk or whatnot would be strong. Not as stronger, but her physical capabilities would be stronger. At least stronger than an average quirk. A lot more stronger than the average quirk. So I'll say someone like muscular, she's like 25% of muscular practically. So that's still pretty strong. As I said, due to him naturally being weaker than normal Saiyans, he would struggle a lot more due to, he would have to adapt a lot faster due to normal Saiyan, due to, having been bullied and whatnot. So dramatically, making him more adaptable, gaining Broly's adaptability during fighting, meaning that no matter how strong you are, eventually he will go to your level if you don't kill him right away. Meaning that he's practically like the ultimate Uno reverse card of a Super Saiyan, practically. And so Raditz, or, the Saiyan race, would gain a dramatic power level due to, the false Super Saiyan being activated. That didn't, destroy that false Super Saiyan also destroyed a lot of the environment. Because, if you saw what it does to normal DB's universe, false Super Saiyan will dramatically, there was a giant crater. As, we go back to the present timeline as now we are at studying hall or in training, because let's say Deku is smart, but I'll say he's like a CB student. He will be very smart, but he wouldn't have time to, actually. He would be not like Goku, but he'd be more of a Gohan slash Goku. So he does have his smart moments. He does know the basics of math and whatnot, but he's kind of like, I don't know. It's complicated. He has a decent IQ when it comes to Super Saiyan. So meaning that he has the classic Super Saiyan, IQ, meaning that he's not too smart nor too dumb. But I guess a little bit on the dense side though, because I mean, I'm pretty sure kid Goku was dense, so yeah, why not? Anyways, Deku would be capable of many things, but the only drawbacks is that his body would rapidly not even due to him being a Super Saiyan or specific DNA. Deku's body on random occasions will shut down and destroy itself and recreate itself due to it still being a human body. So meaning that the Saiyan DNA will turn the human body into a Saiyan body, or at least the leftover tissues of a Saiyan. So Deku would dramatically, how would you say, it would in outbursts of power during those, like, I guess a week until 2 weeks until change. So bodies would shut down, and parts of his clothing or skin, I guess it would be replaced by Super Saiyan skin, kind of like how Cell did, kind of, or like Orochimaru, kind of coated in second skin. So kind of shed almost, but more like power. So the skin, due to the human skin being overpowered by Saiyan DNA, it would kind of turn into ki for Deku. So Deku, by the time his skin will be a lot more advanced than normal people, and Shield Foundation will, the Shield Foundation, I guess, Melissa and David Shield will eventually find this out and wonder where the power surges are coming from Japan and UA. So they would try to make the androids, or at least prototypes of the androids, making 16, or kind of like Terminator androids, I guess. Yeah, but yeah. So anyways, besides that, we go now to Deku's perspective, as he is now, his personality has changed, more of a warrior's perspective than a classic schoolboy's perspective, nerdy schoolboy's perspective. As he didn't have the same personality as Canon, but now that he has shed, he has gained his, full version of, Super Saiyan DNA and physiology, he would now the stronger he gets, he would age a lot more slower than normal people. So yeah, he would hit puberty a lot more later than normal people. His body would change over time, and unlike Goku's, you would see not sparks, but I guess time to time you would see electricity coming off Deku, just random, not sparks, but electricity like Kaioken, and this natural coating would eventually give Deku ki control, or at least the ki shield over his body from the Buu saga. Deku would just, he would use this at a calm state and eventually learn how to use it with his rage. And, Bakugo, due to him getting clapped, like his one time Deku fall back, he will not mess with Deku, so he would give slight remarks, but he know that as soon as, Deku comes in the room, he will shut up because he don't want to get clapped, and due to them being in a giant crater, Deku was going easy on them. He was still very furious, but he was going easy on them. Deku knows how to hold back. Or at least that's what Deku doesn't hold back himself, but due to Deku's body still, recreating itself, his body would hold back on the power, so Deku wouldn't be able to unlock it until, the full recreation of his body would eventually immense. So the skin, the human skin, will turn into the key as Deku absorbs it, getting, key absorption and whatnot. So eventually, it will be the USJ. They're on the bus, talking as Froppy in canon says, "What is your quirk?" And Kirishima does. We all know Bakugo's personality is just flaming hot garbage and whatnot. And what would happen is that Froppy will say, "Hey, what's your quirk?" "I am quirkless. I just very strongly use my emotions to give me power. Not just that, but I'm also built different due to normal people, or I guess at this point getting all these memories while sleeping, he would say unlike normal humans due to him not being human at all. That was kind of like just a barrier, but due to Deku unlocking false Super Saiyan, that would completely just mince his human skin. He had the Super Saiyan skin was under his human skin, so kind of like a barrier where he couldn't, he had to work very hard to, break open the human skin to, become stronger into a Super Saiyan skin. So yeah, that'd be in the lapse of when Deku, he was suspended for the 2 weeks. Anyways, besides that, so what else do you want to learn about me? How are you able to become this powerful? I train abruptly, harshly. I don't stop training. Unlike others, my will is stronger than normal people, or humans. As you know, Deku would feel something rapidly going to him, or a sense of power level, kind of like the power level scanner. Deku's brain will function as Raditz is speeding to Earth, either to warn or bring back Deku due to humans. Saiyans in this timeline don't like humans having the power of Super Saiyan due to them being too stupid, I guess, or dumb in this scenario. They'll just use them to, fulfill their own desires, as Saiyans use it to kind of pull back Cooler's army. Because I'll say Cooler, even though they're working together with the Saiyans, they're still kind of in a war. So yeah. Anyways, what would happen now is that Deku would feel this dramatically cut, and he would be tense up, like his muscles would start flexing. He would tense up a bit. As people start seeing Deku's hair, I guess his hair wouldn't glow for now, but due to him not unlocking Super Saiyan yet, he wouldn't. I guess he would have some instances of red, but let's say his hair is kind of like a Super Saiyan sensor. So yeah, Deku's hair would start to glow due to him tensing up into kind of a red aura, kind of a Kaioken. So kind of just like the outlines of his hair would turn red. So yeah, kind of like somebody coming, pick up your phone, somebody coming. So yeah, practically. So he wouldn't really talk much. He would kind of be more of a warrior type. He would understand morals, and if your morals are correct, he would allow them, and practically kind of like the natural Saiyan pride type of thing with Vegeta. Like, you are not kind of like a type of Vegeta vibes practically. So they're coming. And so he'll say this under their breath. No people would notice this, but they wouldn't pay attention. Did him he has his eyes closed, and Bakugo was not sensitive, but he would notice Deku said it, but he wouldn't really, he wouldn't really care due to him not knowing that Deku isn't human, but he is a Saiyan. So yes. Anyways, Hisashi, Midoriya, and Shield would be kind of on the same range, and due to them working together, David Shield would get the Saiyan DNA, making kind of the prototype of Cell. So yeah. he feels like that the Saiyan race is a threat, and if not one, not only one person should get this power. No one person should have this power, not knowing that Deku isn't human, but now a Saiyan. And so Raditz would feel this overwhelming pressure, going to the Shield Foundation first, scanning, the power levels as I guess he does have, the scanner. So you look through walls, seeing that they're creating something with Saiyan DNA, as Raditz will feel that this isn't good. And so now, due to him wasting like a lot of ki, he would take some breaks between Earth, because he was trying to dramatically get to, I guess, Deku, due to he's trying to warn him about Cooler. That Cooler is only coming here to take you and maybe to claim or destroy the planet. As Deku would, how would you say, feel that it's finally made it on Earth. Meaning that he knows Raditz is here, but he wouldn't know. He would just sense just a massive power level. Great, almost as great as his. But in this timeline, I'll guess Raditz will obtain Super Saiyan. Meaning that Deku's body would dramatically still adapt. And force, without him knowing, force Super Saiyan 1, but not yet though, as they make it to USJ. Deku feels just an absurd number of, levels, weaker than he is, dramatically weaker than he is, but he would feel multiple power levels from one direction as he looks at, where the portal will lie. As Aizawa would say, pay attention, as, he'll put his finger up, as Aizawa will get irritated, and, ask Deku a question. What's wrong? Is something up? I sense others. We're not the only ones here. As that's when Kirishima was like, oh, look, we got fake villains. As as that entire fiasco would happen, as Deku would just sit by, as he would sense something beyond the portal. He would sense something worth his time. He will sense the Nomu. So yes. As the Nomu will now be released, attacking Aizawa after Aizawa took like 40 people on. As Deku's now teleported with Katagiri. As they're now on the boat. Deku don't like showing off, so he don't like, having his powers. As Froppy, Mineta are just freaking out. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Calm down. I got you all. As he picks them up and starts flying. What? I thought you didn't have a crank, gal? I don't. Now stop. Now stop yammering. Getting on my headache. I'm trying to focus. As he doesn't really care. Like, he's kind of zoning out. But, he's focusing more on Raditz, and, he senses multiple power, I guess with Cooler, I guess the Frieza Force before Cooler. Or at least, I guess now, instead of Frieza Force or Ginyu Force, it would be called the Cooler Force, I guess. So he would feel, abundance of, people just coming to their planet. Really slowly but surely. As he would sense two strong things. One from the Nomu and one from I guess the Saiyan equivalent to Raditz. So yes. As senses of lightning or thunder would start forming around Deku. As he can now instead of just calling out Kaioken, he will now be able to but mentally activate Kaioken without trying anymore. So all he practically kind of like a defense organism. Kind of, so when he feels threatened, Kaioken will automatically activate now. And immediately go to Kaioken 5 or 10, or just, I guess not Kaioken, but at least a decent Kaioken times 10. because I guess due to the experiments he's been doing with Kaioken times 50 and whatnot, he would slowly but surely gain Kaioken times 20. As he would be able to, he would have Kaioken times 1 always on, which would give those, little lightning slings. As now, when he feels threatened, he would, his mind will automatically turn on Kaioken times 10. As Kaioken, it would, do area damage, but not as bad as Super Saiyan 1. Nor 2, nor 3. So, yes. So... he doesn't bother, like, he loves fighting, but I mean, he does, like, he's kind of a warrior, so he does, like, if he sees that you're no match for him, he won't attack you because he does have pride. He doesn't go that low. So he's like, if you're not worth my time, there's no point of me annihilating you. That will be unworthy of me, as he wouldn't know the name, but I mean, I guess when who comes, you will tell him that you're a Saiyan, or at least you feel like a Saiyan. So yeah, don't know how, but yeah. As you know, Deku would eventually, people will see that he's flying, or at least villains or whatnot will see he's flying on the shore. As he's on the shore, and I guess not Kirishima, but Shigaraki would eventually, try to touch Asui, and let's say, due to the distance, because it wasn't that they weren't that far from each other, so yeah, especially due to the Saiyan able to go light speed, or at least at light speed, or surpass light speed, or some type of speediness, I guess. So yeah, what would happen is that there would be a flash of red. As Deku's hair would turn, I guess, it would be fully black, so yeah. He would, how would you say, there would be a flash of red lightning. Not black, but just like a dark red and a red, layer and, outer layer, so yeah. As, Sue has just been, kind of instant transmission, it came out. Deku's instant transmission is like a thunderbolt coming down on Earth, kind of. So yeah, it's kind of different from Goku's instant transmissions. As Shigaraki gets electrocuted, not by much due to it only being instant transmission, he would feel a large amount of pain, but he would kind of be paralyzed for at least a good 30 minutes, or I guess 10 minutes. As the Nomu would, I guess the only words that Shigaraki would get from his mouth would kill the kid. As Deku and Deku would drop Asui, I guess at the stairs, entrance transmission, to the battlefield and start fighting the Nomu. As he would notice that something's not right with the Nomu. He would sense that he has a power level, but it's kind of faded, kind of. Meaning that the Nomu technically isn't human, and that it's at least not anymore. So yeah. So I guess I don't have to hold back. As I guess someone would, come crashing down, killing the Nomu, as Raditz will appear, killing the Nomu from the top. As that is when they have the entire confrontation. As Raditz tells Deku, I don't know what you are, but you seem like a Saiyan. What are you doing here? As he would notice that he noticed that someone tried to mess with Saiyan DNA. As he would realize that he now has to bring Deku back for more. I guess he gotta learn what Deku is. As yes, Deku is a Saiyan, but he's not a normal Saiyan. He's more of a, how do you say? His blood is somewhat of Ki, meaning that he's a lot more. His power itself is kind of within him, literally. So it's kind of confusing. But anyways, I'm not coming with anyone. Who are you? As you know, as you know, everyone would just feel these intense aura of two players about to fight and duel it down. As you know, Raptors don't have time because you know, there I guess a couple not Saiyans but a couple people because let's say he was being chased down by a couple of the free Cooler Force. Sorry, Cooler Force. So yeah. Who are you? We have to go now, San. Fellow San, we have to go now, or they're gonna catch up to us. I don't know what a San is, and I don't know who you are, so I don't know. Are you ridiculous? Do you not know? As you know, Radams will realize that he's not, he's different from other Sans, but he's still a San, so I mean, he'll try to, bribe Deku, eventually try to forcefully bring Deku, as Deku would get angry, and turn on Super Saiyan times 20, right? He ain't playing, so immediately after Kaioken times 20, he would just battle out with, right in the middle of villains, so, villains would just be blasted back by the amount of power these two are, revealing. As, Deku would, how do you say, be irritated, like, he's annoyed, he doesn't want to be bothered. As you know, that's when there's a fight. As bing bing. As others are watching from the sky, Deku and Raditz would be fighting. Come on, brethren, we must go back to the planet. There's only a few of us left. We have a new planet now. Because I'll say Cooler did blow up the planet, but there's only a couple of thousand Saiyans left, so yeah. I guess I'll get to 5,000 Saiyans left, so yeah. Come on, we must go back to our planet. There's only a few of us left. I don't know who you are. As you know, they're just fighting, and eventually they'll get interrupted by, a Frieza's force. As you know, I guess there'll be a Ki blast going towards Deku. Raditz will take the blast for Deku, as Raditz now has a giant ass hole in his chest. As you know, Ki, that's just for convenience. Ki can also heal, but you have to have a lot of flippin' Ki. So Deku gives, I say he pulls out, Raditz will pull out something from his bag. Here, brethren, it's a senzu bean. As you know, Raditz will not die by, I guess, faint, because I'll say it's a big hole, but it's not that big. To the point where you can at least heal it, like kind of like a little bit bigger than a bullet hole. So yeah, and it's not in any vital area. Like I'll say it's like kind of near the heart, but it's not. It's near the heart, but it didn't penetrate the heart. So it's kind of like on the side of the heart. So yeah, I know Deku gives him the senzu bean, and he powers up. I don't know who he was, but I feel like some type of familiarity with him. As you know, as they say, King Cooler will claim this planet. Either that or destroy the planet. As you know, that entire, deja vu, I want you to destroy my world kind of thing. So yeah, Deku. As you know, Deku, he's not on that Super Saiyan level, but he will gain something. As you know, Aizawa would try to, attack them, because let's say he was, he wasn't as badly injured, so eventually Aizawa would get swung, and Deku would sense that Aizawa's power level was gone, but this only due to having, Aizawa at death's door, but not dying, as Deku would be enraged as, hold up, let's see if I can find it. I have it somewhere in here and I wanted to use it. Where is it? Where is it? I have it somewhere here! As you know, Deku would turn Super Saiyan and start to beat the ever-living crap out of the, I guess, parts of the Cooler Force. As you know, the SHIELD agency would feel this. and fight by fight, they're not on par, but they're kind of they're kind of get beaten up on by Deku. So yeah, while Raditz sees this as like the legendary Super Saiyan, as you know, he is technically correct, but not at the same time, because he isn't technically. So yeah. So what would happen is that there will be just an assortment of energy beams in the sky. As clash by clash, what's it called? You will pay for what you've done. As now, Deku is now infuriated as some of his, evil intentions or, evil Super Saiyan, not evil Super Saiyan, but kind of like his rage, Cumber's rage will kind of appear. As, he would start fighting, overdoing or overkilling, his opponents, as by the time he's done, by the time the person's dead or, Deku feels good, the person would already be no more. Like, his essences will kind of, how would you say, there would be nothing left but a foot after what Deku did. Literally, everything's just been obliterated from, because he does have the ki shield on, and the ki shield kind of absorbs others' ki, so kind of like Goku Black, kind of. So yeah, kind of killing them both, as Aizawa would say no, as he would think they're from this planet, but they're not. So as Cumber would be in the hospital, as Deku would be sent to not prison, but I guess police custody, due to killing 2 authorized people, I guess. But eventually, as Raditz wakes up, he will tell them, "I'm not human." It will take a lot of explaining, but they would understand. As he would be infuriated that they have a Saiyan or made a Saiyan child. As he would be thinking of blowing up the planet, but he saw Deku and how Deku turned Super Saiyan, as he was like, you know what, it would probably be my best intentions not to blow up the planet so I don't get clapped by them. So yeah. As Deku has now, how would you say, Deku's Super Saiyan would be different now. Instead of gold hair, his hair would kind of turn like reddish golden. Like a golden reddish kind of. As now there would be, how would you say, Deku would now have to wear these inhibitors that I guess Raditz would bring them. So, here I have some inhibitors to cancel out Deku's power, making sure Deku can no longer use his power unless he takes them off. And Raditz will talk for a bit, try to explain everything to Deku, as Deku would kind of understand things, but he wouldn't understand one thing. So what about the dreams? Are the dreams have anything apart? It's Deku would explain these dreams as Raditz will be terrified, or the equivalent to Raditz would be terrified, as he would say that's God of Destruction, and that sounds like part of the Frieza race. So yeah, and you know what? He would be terrified of what knowledge Deku would hold, as he would see you have memories of a God of Destruction and whatnot, meaning that, I mean, I guess their universe wouldn't have a God of Destruction yet, but they do have an angel, which the angel's kind of, I guess, here and there looking for, a suitable, God of Destruction. As the angel would appear recently upon Japan looking for Deku, as due to that instances, the angel will eventually find Deku and want to train Deku. As this has now been off flippin' planet Earth, and now Deku would have to, how would you say, fight an entire war, practically, of Frieza Force. As Raditz would be terrified or, kind of scared that an angel is here. He wouldn't really care. I mean, the angel wouldn't really care. It's like, okay, So I'll train you to become a god of destruction. Because let's say this is he kind of picky with his god of destruction, so you know he's trying to look for one. Now say this is kind of. I said that it does have some instances of the DBZ universe, so I'll say there isn't a Zenu though in this world. This kind of the angels kind of just I guess there'll be more of the council of angels, and then the grand priest will practically be God in this sense. So God or King Omni King wouldn't exist, but is that or the priest would, the grand priest would. So kind of like he takes Omni King's position practically. So the only angels he says there has to be balance in the world. Destruction and creation, but I guess destruction has to be balanced in this world. As he would point as the angel. As we're at in the past. As you have to find a god destruction quickly before you get erased. We have rules here, and I plan on keeping with the rules. As due to him having a sector of the universe, or one of the universes, he would not find any. He would find King Crueler, but he will find Crueler as more of a person who abuse the god of destruction power. As he finally found, Deku, as Deku has now been, Deku, he waited into the future until Deku was old enough, as now we're at the hospital, as Deku's now on the bed full of bandages, broken bones and everything, so Raditz would, or equivalent of Raditz would, bring Deku onto a ship, because I say he did bring his ship, or had the ship with him, with a healing pod. As Deku, for the next 2 weeks, for the sports festival, will be stuck in, the healing pod. As his body, due to that inferences of now meeting an angel, flipping, I guess, a Super Saiyan, his body would now dramatically, eventually every few months now, he would gain dramatically, but now, his limit with Kaioken will either be I guess it would probably be 100. Yeah, let's say his max with, instead of how Goku has maximum of 20, Deku would have a Kaioken times 100. So yes. Deku's Kaioken would not shut off for some reason. Even though his body will be exhausted, it would not overexert him, but over destroy his cells, recreating that at a dramatic rate, making his power increase, as his healing capabilities will also increase, as his skin will harden into a sand skin, everything will happen, as Deku's hair would kind of have a hint of red now, or some outlines of red permanently, because she's kind of say a Super Saiyan God, so yeah. As the angel will notice this is that he needs to take control of his power, because this is overwhelming, it's overwhelming, the restraints he has for, preventing him using, or, any more power, but, the Kaioken technically isn't super part of the Super Saiyan, so it will override, kind of destroy, releasing Deku from, his binds, I guess, of his power level, so, his power level would dramatically increase, as he's waking up, as the angel kind of knocks him out, because he does need more sleep, so yeah, kind of knocks him out with his staff, kind of just a little tap on his forehead, kind of knocking him out. As Deku now has ties to the an angel from the Council of Angels, and now has a connection to the Super Saiyan race. As Raditz, or the equivalent to Raditz, will send a message on a ship to, I guess, the equivalent of, I guess the equivalent to Bardock, I guess. Because I'll say Bardock would be a thing, or at least equivalent to Bardock. A Saiyan that's equivalent to Bardock. Which Bardock is technically Goku's father. But I guess he'd kind of be like a tribe thing, so he'd kind of be like a good leader. So, you know, he's kind of like the leader and whatnot of, you know, the entire Saiyans due to him being the only one to go Super Saiyan. So, yeah. Bardock in canon is able to, you know, activate Super Saiyan. So, I mean, why not? And two, what I can see, he is the only one that can use it that I've seen so far. At least in the past, when Goku wasn't born. He was, I guess, one of the first Super Saiyans I saw. Or is the first one to go Super Saiyan, so yeah. So Deku would technically be the second to go Super Saiyan. As, you know, Bardock would train others to somehow learn Super Saiyan, but they wouldn't have enough time due to, you know, Cooler always, you know, finding their planets somehow. As you know, there is one amongst them that is not what they seem. Meaning that there is a mole inside the planet telling them all their locations. As you know, after kind of the angel showed up, they would, you know, they would want explanations, like the Hero Society would want explanations, or Nezu. But, you know, the angel would politely say, "This is none of your concern, humans. This is now far beyond your hand. Far beyond your hand that you cannot comprehend. Do not try to do anything." You know, they will also be time keys on Kais of time. So yeah, that would be a thing. As you know, one sense is a great danger in the future, which will be, I guess, the activation of Cell. Which in the future, Cell will kind of desert the planet, kind of destroying all of humanity on the planet, or, you know, all living things on the planet. Or at least, you know, future Cell, not, you know, present Cell, because it's like present Cell isn't, you know, I guess when Cell finally got, you know, his, I guess after he kind of defeated, you know, Deku in the future, his, you know, new objective was to kind of, or, you know, now that he's technically not an android and not human, so he would, you know, he would see humans as a nuisance, seeing that they can, you know, they'll probably shut him down after he's finished with his goals. Since he does have self-awareness, he would, you know, destroy all humanity on the planet. As there'd be equivalent of Trunks as well. But that would come into the future, as now there's one other what if I must do. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye! Remember, subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment in the video. Number 3 would be a lot more descriptive, so I will, you know, describe a lot more things due to me not having enough time for today. But I will come out with the second video today, which is going to be a fact instead of me procrastinating, like always. But anyways, yeah. I will be working on the second what if. This what if will probably come out at like, what time is it now? Probably come out in 2 hours or so. So yeah. Anyways, goodbye everyone, and remember, keep calm and eat your almond. Hey. I don't know, I was bored.